really, really happy. And all I want is support from you. From my mum's side, I'm third generation Australian. My dad, I'm first. I'm only 20 years old and I've been brought up in Australia my whole life. I was brought up to be kind of prejudiced, and so I always had a bad view about Muslims. So, you know, 9/11 happened, I thought they were all terrorists, and I was brought up, you know, to believe that. I was brought up to be a Christian, but by Christian it means I could still go out and drink and do everything because I believe that Jesus died for my sins and I was forgiven. So it's not very, yeah, I was never brought up strict religious. I used to go to youth group and scripture, but that was my own will. For 2 years I was actually a bartender in a nightclub, and one night I met a patron who was Muslim, and he wasn't practicing because he was clubbing, and we actually became really good friends, and through him I met his friend who's now my husband. But with him, he used to be like, he used to try and tell me about Islam. I'm like, don't bother, I don't want to be Muslim, that's not something I want, you know, it's crazy. And then he kept saying, he's like, just read something about Islam. I'm like, I don't want to read. And he's like, just please try. And I was like, fine, I'll do it for the sake of you. And so I read a book and I kept reading and I kept looking up videos and I kept researching, and I started to realize that they're not crazy terrorists like the media portrays. They're actually like peaceful and they're happy. He got the number for a Revert that's in Perth, and so I went to go see her that week, and I met her, and just seeing how happy she was and her family was, and she told me about Islam, and by the end of it I was sitting down with her for about 3 hours. I almost started crying, and she stopped. She's like, "You're gonna cry?" I'm like, no, I'm fine. But it's like I was looking for something my whole life, and meeting her is when I found it, and what I found was Islam. And so I embraced it. I took my Shahada on Eid this year and started wearing hijab every day. And my dad, he kind of frowned upon it, but he still speaks to me. And my mum, it took her a few weeks, but she saw how happy I was, and she didn't want to question, like she didn't want to say, oh, don't want you to be happy. So that's changed for the better, and I am really, really happy. And all I want is support from you. But if you don't understand, that's okay. Because I met so many other sisters and brothers and family here. But at the same time, I still want my parents and my grandparents and the ones that have accepted me. I'm so thankful for. And I'm so happy, and this is a lifetime commitment I want to have.